The corner, the corner, the corner. Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you'll find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, unscripted, unfiltered conversation, like you're home with your cousin. It's all about life. It's about finance. It's about spirituality. It's about love and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey. So sit back and listen in as we dive into a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on with an array of thoughts and opinions. My goal is to create a space all for us to connect and communicate. It's not really about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy it. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner.
What's good, people? How you doing out there? This is Destrin checking in from the Brethren Podcast. We're here with Cousin Ed of Cousin Ed's Corner. What we wanted to let you know is, number one, we appreciate you checking in with us. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, and supporting the platform. We also wanted to let you know that this is information. This is used for informational purposes only. This is not financial advice and should not be used as such. Please consult your financial advisor should you feel the need to make an investment decision, a financial decision, or a decision that may be impactful to your family from a tax advantage standpoint. What we want to do is bring you content that is eye-opening, glaring, and also provides you the opportunity to explore, ask better questions, and be better prepared for the opportunities that await you. Again, this is Cousin Ed's Corner, and we hope that we can be of service to you. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. What's going on, fam? What's going on, fam? We are back. We're back with another one. It's your boy, Cousin Ed, Cousin Ed's Corner. And today we are winning again. Today's going to be a Financial Freedom Friday, but I'm at a toss-up because this young lady can be on, I believe, all of the episodes from Motivational Monday all the way down to thank God for everything. But I'm definitely going to have her back for when my sister wins, we all win. But she's doing a lot of big things. And once again, I got to give the internet credit. I got to give whoever created the algorithm credit for bringing her to my page, to the forefront that I found her. And I think we're going to be connected for a minute here. So Ari Joseph is the queen we're bringing on today. She's going to come to us and talk about some financial freedom. Ari, welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You are, well, I thank you. That's why the main thing. So, and you go by the handle Cash Value Expert. Like I said, I found you on Instagram, and you had a stitch of another cash value insurance policy, and I was scratching my head. And can you explain what is a cash value insurance policy?
Absolutely. So these policies are called index universal life policies. Now, you also have whole life policies. Both of these policies fall under permanent life insurance. So with permanent life insurance, it gives you the ability to accumulate cash inside the policy. So there is a savings component inside of these policies. The money that accumulates there is tax-free, depending on the type of policy you're getting. So if you're getting a whole life, with whole life policies, there's a percent interest of about, let's say, 4 to 6%. 4 to 5% building on your money, the money that you're putting into the policy. And then with the index universal life, there is an interest of about 6 to 7% building on your money. So it's a compound interest with the Index Universal Life, or IULs. I'll just say IULs. It's a more accelerated compound interest, right? With the whole life, there is compounding interest, but it's not as high. I would say that percentage. But the difference between the two, well, there's a lot of differences, but the main difference with the whole life, there's guaranteed dividends. What this means is the money that you see in the illustration, when it's telling you, okay, this is what you're going to have in 20 years, 30 years, that is what you're going to have, because it's not based on the stock index. But with the IULs, they're based on the stock index S&P 500. I'm sure you're familiar with that stock index, right? Yeah. So the stock, it fluctuates. Now, mind you, these policies are not, and I want to be clear, they're not investments. They are life insurance policies. But with IULs, you have exposure to the market without the risk, the downside of risk, right? I'm losing your money. So you don't lose your money if the stock market goes down, but the accumulation that you get on the money is at the whim of the stock market. So that, sometimes you might see insurance agents even going back and forth about it, because some like these policies, some don't. Honestly, if the policy is structured correctly, the policy will work for the client. And I've seen them work, right? I've seen people use these policies particularly to leverage. So they use these policies. Let's say you would not be able to go to the bank and get a traditional loan. As we know from history, oftentimes, we go to a bank and there's discrimination against us with the housing market, with the banking, you name it. So we may go in and get a higher interest on our loan, or may not get a loan at all. Well, with these policies, if you got an IUL, let's say you got the policy in your younger years, in your mid-20s, 30s, and you decide, I want to start purchasing real estate or investing or what have you, then you can dip into that policy and use the money in the policy to either use it as a loan, or you can literally take that policy to the bank and use it as collateral. So, you have options with those policies. Honestly, those policies are more so for people who want to leverage, not for someone who just want a death benefit. Now, with whole life, if you're looking for a death benefit, but you want added features, because both the whole life and the IUL, because they're permanent life insurance policies, they do have what's called living benefits. So in addition to having the cash value component, which is tax-free money that you can pull out of these policies, you also have riders. Riders are add-ons to the policy. And what add-ons are is, these are features that the companies or carriers add on to the policy. So they all come with these add-ons. Critical injury. So let's say you became critically ill, chronically ill, critically injured, or terminally ill, then you can use a portion of your policy to pay off your medical costs, lost wages. They would basically cut you a check from your death benefit. Yeah. So, and that's for people, of course, if they don't have life insurance. I'm sorry, not life insurance, like medical insurance. For folks who may be in between jobs and something like that happens, you'll have the policy to fall back on. And so, yeah, those are the added benefits to those policies. So these policies are great. Permanent life insurance is something that I always recommend to clients, unless they're old. They're very old, like over 65. Then I would say, okay, yeah, term is great. But I do know a lot of agents do push term. Honestly, term, in my opinion, is never really a good fit, although term is least expensive. So with whole life, you may pay just a little bit more. With whole life, honestly, I've seen whole life policies be the same as a term policy as far as the premiums go. I've seen IUL policies, people have paid as little as $75 into the policy. And then when they decide to, they can dump more money into the policy. Now, what this does is, let's say you have a windfall, $10,000, and you say, hey, I want to put this in my policy. You can do that. There are carriers and policies that allow you to basically make a deposit of a large amount, and you can continue to do this. Some carriers will allow you to even use your policy, and this is IUL, not the whole life, but the IULs. Some carriers will allow you to actually use the policy like a bank. So there's a terminology called infinite banking. And what they're specifically talking about are these types of policies where you can literally dump money into the policy, let it sit and accumulate that interest for a couple of years and flip it. It's almost like, being a drug game. You put it out there and you flip it, right? So you put it in, you're putting it in and you're letting it, just like a regular savings account. Of course, with savings accounts, a traditional one is like 1 or 2% interest. But with an IUL, you have up to 7% interest building on that money. So you leave it in a few years, you take it out, it's doubled. Now you can invest or do whatever you need to do. And then let's say you invest in real estate, you get a property, a rental property, and now you have residual income coming in. You can take a percentage of that residual income, put it back into the policy. Yeah. Yes. And you can keep doing this over and over and over. And that's why it's called infinite banking, because these policies last forever, for as long as you're alive. Most go up to 120 years. So you never have to worry about the policy lapsing while you're alive, and you can continue to use the policy up until your death. And the beauty in it, of course, is that you have the ability to use permanent policies while you're alive. So you can benefit from the policy, build wealth within a generation, and then you leave wealth for the next generation. So this is where the generational wealth comes in, because you can literally utilize this policy to build wealth in this lifetime and then allow your children to build wealth with the money you leave behind.
Excellent. I'm going to back up a little bit. I was so ready to get into the conversation itself, but I want to know more about you. What got you into life insurance? What, I hear a little Caribbean somewhere in there. So
I'm born and raised in New Orleans.
Oh, man.
So I always say New Orleans is like the most Caribbean city city in the United States. But, born and raised in New Orleans. I got into life, just to be quite honest, I started out doing many things. I have been a massage therapist, a Reiki practitioner, a health wellness coach, a SAG actor, Reiki practitioner. So Reiki is a form of energy healing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's laying of the hands. And yoga teacher, I've done so much. Acting, though, was my passion for about 16 years. So I was a SAG actor, and I've done a lot of films, Marvel, Venom, Queen Sugar, HBO, Treme, NCIS New Orleans. Man, the list goes on. Mm-hmm. So I got into life insurance during the pandemic. Okay. I was living in California, and my grandmother passed during COVID, God rest her soul. And what we found out, she had this insurance policy that she had been paying on for maybe 30 years, for as long as I can remember. This man in a suit would always come to the house every month and get the payment, right? So she had this policy. She was paying on it for so long, and come to find out, the policy was only $10,000.
Sad part.
$10,000. So she's paying on it for 30 plus years, $10,000. That was barely enough to cover the cost of her funeral, but she also had a home, and the family ended up losing the home. Mm. It could not pay the taxes. There was nothing left. Mm-hmm. So that was, of course, devastating to the family, devastating to myself, everybody. Like, we just didn't understand. Everybody was confused. Mm-hmm. So I started to do some research to figure out what happened. I'm to find out this particular company, they were a janky company. Let's just start there. They were also a predatory company. I found that a lot of life insurance companies I won't say a lot, but a few have targeted the Black communities, urban communities. And they sell them these really terrible policies. And they, the policies are like, what, $10, $20 a month. So these are what they can afford, the elderly or what have you, and they'll pay on these policies. But these policies offer nothing,
exactly.
Literally nothing, when they can offer them so much more. And my grandmother was pretty healthy. When she passed, it was, of course, due to COVID, but before then, she was healthy as a bull. So, and she was, 87? 87 years old. So she could have easily like 30 years ago, qualified for a policy, like a whole life or an IU. And we could have had,
Million,
you know.
yeah. Something left to the family.
Exactly. And so that, you know, it enraged me, but it also intrigued me. And I started to learn more. So I started digging deep and, you know, digging and diving into it, reaching out to folks who were in the industry, asking questions. I did get with a good friend of mine because she also experienced a situation where her father passed during COVID. So, and she's Asian. So she and I got together. We decided to jump into life insurance. So I got licensed, and I just hit the ground running. As soon as I got that license, I started making tickets because I learned so much during the time that I, you know, getting licensed, and I'm taking the courses and stuff. And I'm like, what the? I was floored. Like, you could really do this with the insurance policy? What? So I'm asking my family, like, why don't y'all know this? And they're like, no, we didn't hear nothing about it. And I'm asking friends, and nobody knows. And I'm like, why? What is going on? And I find out this is what Rockefeller, J.D. Rockefeller, this is what this man used to build his wealth. He used life insurance policies.
Putting
They did the exact same. Yes. And then they created a trust, right? Put all the insurance policies inside the trust. And these policies, they started to borrow money from the policies. They're building businesses and banks all over the world, pretty much. And this is how they built their wealth. And so I'm thinking, you know, would this work for the Black community? Could we start getting these policies? Because, yeah, I mean, it's so much we can do with the money, right? We can put it into educate our children, you know, basically eliminate poverty in one generation.
So let me ask this question. A person has, let's say, 10,000 in savings. Let's say they're 30 years old. 30 years old, 10,000 in savings, and they want to start one of these policies. How can this policy benefit them, and how soon can they borrow against it to start doing something?
Well, when it comes to these policies, there are some stipulations, as with all life insurance. So they look at your health. That's first and foremost. Depending on your health would depend on how good your health is, would depend on whether you would even qualify for these policies, because these are considered high-end policies. Most companies, most A-rated carriers, they do require blood work. They do require medical lab work as well. So if you have, you know, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, if you're a smoker, that kind of thing, those things could hinder your ability to apply to qualify for them. Now, if you are healthy and you do qualify, then let's say you wanted to dump $10,000 into a policy, the access to the money would happen the very next year. Now, you would have access to the money, but it won't be a whole bunch, though, because the accumulation happens year over year. So I would say if you got a policy, give it a few years. You know, don't get a policy and use the policy as, okay, this is going to be my way. I'm broke. I'm flat broke, and this is all I got. I'm going to put in this policy, and then I'm going to have money in the next couple of months. Nope, don't work like that. It's a weight gain for sure. And it's just like a savings. So when you think of it, think of a savings. And if you think of a savings account, you're putting money in and you're kind of forgetting about it, if that makes sense. And then you're back, you know, circling back a few years later to pull somebody out if you can, you know, that kind of thing. So I would say that would be the approach and the mindset with these policies. Don't look at it as a quick fix, because it's not. You do have to wait a few years for the accumulation to really make sense, if that makes sense.
It does. So in a few years, say I'm 40 years old at this time, I can start using it as my own bank? Okay.
Yep. Sure.
So that same 10,000 that I put in, I could take out every month and put back in every month as a paycheck.
Yeah. It's as long as it's there. Yep. You can take it out and put it back there.
And I believe you can take it out and know how to put it back in as long as the policy is paid and, you know, terms are paid.
Yeah, as long as you're paying your premiums, yeah, you don't have to put it back in. And that's another misconception with the policies too. And let me be clear, policies, the way that they function can change from carrier to carrier. This is why it's very important that when you are considering getting a policy, that you're dealing with an insurance agent who's independent. The reason being is because if you deal with a life insurance agent who's held captive and they work for a company, you would only be able to have access to the products that that company offers you. And the products may not be the best fit for your needs. You see what I'm saying? So some companies, they might have IULs, but they may have a lot of stipulations. You may not be able to pull money out as easily as you can with some carriers. So I'll give you an example. National Life Group, great company. They give you the ability to go pull money in and out, just like a bank. I've literally talked to the folks there. Like I always call the carriers, and I like to talk to the associates, asking questions, things like that. And I want to confirm, and yes, you can do that. But then let's say you're doing Transamerica and you get any IUL with them, probably not, not so much. You can't really do it with them. Even with Mutual of Omaha, they have a great IUL, but you don't have as much flexibility as far as putting money in and taking money out as you do with National Life Group. So having access to the right types of carriers is very important. Independent agents, because they're not held captive, they have access to work with any carrier they want to. So I'm contracted with over 20 different carriers. Excellent. And I can be contracted with more, but I chose to deal with just a few, and only a handful I actually really like because they're all A-rated carriers. They're great companies, great reputations, great products. So I just want to make sure that I can offer my clients the gambit of options. So if they don't qualify for this particular carrier because of their health, let's look at this other carrier who has the same of what you're looking for, but, less requirements around health, if that makes sense. Yes. Or, if they want to, if this is something that they want to do with their policy, let's first shop and see which carrier would allow you to do it and if you would qualify, that kind of thing. So I just, again, want to have options. So as an independent agent, that gives me the ability and the freedom to deal with the carriers that I want to, and to make sure that I'm matching the client up with the product that works for them.
Excellent. One thing that I did see in one of your videos, I'm giving another scenario from your video. I am a parent. My daughter just turned 18. I have a policy for them. I'm able to also transfer this policy to them.
Yes, you can. You sure can transfer.
And at that point, they become the owner of the policy. What does it? Yes. Or let's back up. Does it trust? Just leave it in the trust, and don't make them the owner.
Yeah, you leave it in the trust, and if you've instructed the trust that the money goes to your son, your daughter, or what have you, you can do it that way, or you can just simply transfer the policy over. Still leave it in a trust, but now your son, if it's let's say an IUL, a whole life policy, and he wants to access some money out of that policy, then he'll have the ability to do so once you transfer it over.
Well, I want to go deeper and deeper into this and with some more scenarios, but I want to actually bring you back. I want this to let everybody know who you are and what you do. So go ahead and let them know where they can find you at.
Sure. So I am on TikTok as Cash Value Expert. That's my handle. I'm on Instagram, Cash Value Expert. On Facebook, I'm Ariadne Joseph. That's spelled Ariadne, last name Joseph. And you can find me on any of those platforms. Reach out. I'll send you a link and we can chat. We talk about your options.
Now listen, she has a whole bunch of other stuff going on. She has ebooks, she has movies, she has, listen, get close. She has wellness. She's coming back. She's coming back for sure.
Indeed.
But no, I definitely want to have you back for when my sister wins, we all win. We got to connect on that. Listen, guys, 762-333-2032. That's 762-333-2032. Leave her a voicemail. Let her know what you think of the show. I'll definitely play it for her on one of the other shows. You can find her on Instagram, TikTok. I'll leave all that in the write-up of the show. But definitely want to have you back. I can tell everybody, the brown is up top, the clear is down low, the red cups are on the counter. You can find your way inside the Cousin Ed's Corner. Anytime you like to come back, just let me know. I'd love to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Definitely appreciate it.
No, and you're welcome. Hey, fam, we love you. We love you. We love you. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great one.
Disclaimer: I do not provide personal investment advice, and I am not a qualified licensed investment advisor. I'm an amateur investor. All information found here, including any ideas, opinions, views, predictions, forecasts, commentaries, suggestions, or stock picks, expressed or implied herein, are for informational, entertainment, or educational purposes only and should not be construed as personal investment advice. While the information provided is believed to be accurate, it may include errors or inaccuracies. I, nor any of my guests, will not and cannot be held liable for any actions you take as a result of anything you hear or read on this show. You must do your own due diligence or consult a licensed financial advisor or broker before making any and all investment decisions. Any investments, trades, speculations, or decisions made on the basis of any information found on this site, expressed or implied herein, are committed at your own risk, financial or otherwise. Cousin Ed's Corner is my personal thoughts. It reflects my own views, ideas, and opinions. It is not a production of my guest, nor is it affiliated with any broker/dealer or registered investment advisor. No representations or warranties are made with respect to the accuracy or completeness of the content of this entire show, including any links to other sites. The links provided are maintained by their respective organizations, and they are solely responsible for their content. All information presented here is provided as is, without warranty of any kind, expressed or implied. From time to time I may include affiliate links and advertisements on Cousin Ed's Corner that result in my receiving a payment should a visitor click on a link or sign up to a service. As per established internet practice, listeners are entirely responsible for any actions they take as a result of listening, reading, or clicking on links mentioned on the show, and are urged to do your own due diligence before signing up.
Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.